Namayom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Namayom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Mate Bhakti Vedanta Namiti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha
Shunyavadi
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. I'd like to thank the devotees who joined us for today's seminar. We're going to talk about the appearance day of Vakresvara Pandit. And it's always nice to remember these incredible personalities on especially their appearance and disappearance days, so that we can seek their blessings to further our spiritual journey towards the Supreme Lord. By remembering them, we not only receive their blessings, but we also learn from their lives. And as Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Instructions, we should follow in the footsteps of the devotees, the great personalities. So this is the opportunity that we can learn from their lives and imbibe some of their teachings, their values into our own lives. So today is appearance day of a wonderful personality. We'll talk about him today. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 10, chapter 17th verse, it states the following about this wonderful personality. So we can recite this together. Vakresvara Pandita Prabhora Pada Priya Brata Ekabhave Chabhisha Paharayanra Nitya.
Vakresvara Pandit, the fifth branch of the tree, was a very dear servant of Lord Chaitanya's. He could dance with constant ecstasy for 72 hours.
So has anybody tried to dance for 72 hours in one stretch? Even 5 minutes could be a little bit tricky. This is Vakresvara Pandit. And we can see the Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that he's a very dear servant of Lord Chaitanya. He's the fifth branch of a tree. This tree is the tree of devotion, which was planted by Madhavendra Puri, and eventually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the main trunk of this wonderful tree. And there's many branches, and one of these branches is Vakresvara Pandit. These branches basically mean those who are very important to Lord Chaitanya's mission. So you can see he's very important to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So who is he? In the Gaura Ganodesha Dipika, it is stated that Vakresvara Pandit is an incarnation of Aniruddha, one of the quadruple expansions of Lord Vishnu. If you recall from Lord Krishna, the first expansion is Lord Balaram, from whom comes the first quadruple expansion, Chaturvayu, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So this Aniruddha here is regarded to be Vakresvara Prabhu. But there's also the disciples of Vakresvara Pandit. One of the main ones is called Gopal Guru Goswami. And his disciple, Dhyan Chandra, has written many books. And in one of the books, he explains that actually Vakresvara Pandit is an incarnation of Tunga Vidya Sakhi, one of the gopis, one of the 8 gopis. And Tunga Vidya is a very expert singer and dancer, serving as one of Srimati Radharani's Asashakis. So this is Radha Madhav in Mayapur Dham. And we've seen this diagram, this wonderful picture a few times of this incredible incredible deities. So we have Radha Madhav, Lalita, Vishakha, Indulekha, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Champakalata, Chitra Manjari. And finally here, as you're looking at the screen on the left-hand side, we have Tunga Vidya. There she is. And it is regarded that Vakresvara, a Pandit, is incarnation of Tunga Vidya, because Tunga Vidya was very expert in dancing and singing. So Vakresvara Pandit was born in a village of Guptipara near Triveni. This is actually in West Bengal, not the Triveni in the Sangham in Payag. Vakresvara, as we've discussed in the verse, danced wonderfully for 72 continuous hours. He was obviously very empowered personality. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu played in dramatic performance, they used to do dramas in the house of Srivas Pandit. Vakresvara Pandit was one of the chief dancers, and he would dance continuously for long, long periods of time. And especially at the time when he danced with 72 continuous hours, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Vakresvara, I have only one wing like you, but if I had another, certainly I could fly in the sky. They used to have wonderful interaction. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regarded Vakresvara very, very highly. Loved him very much. And everything he did was very auspicious. And he, as we'll see a little bit later, he had incredible power. He was expert at singing and dancing. He always pleased Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with this service. And he used to serve in the Sankirtan parties, the dramas, as we've discussed, and in the Rath Yatras. And so Vakresvara Pandit was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the very early until the end. So very important associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So he also was there when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. He left Navadvip, he left his residence to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. So he stayed with in Jagannath Puri with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, he stayed in the same house, which was Kashi Mishra's house. So one of the most important things he did, and this is a really merciful act by Vakresvara Prabhu, he was responsible for the salvation, deliverance of Devananda Pandit. Who's Devananda Pandit? Devananda Pandit was somebody who liked to recite the Srimad Bhagavat Puran. He was a professional reciter, so he was a lecturer, and he had a school. He would lecture every day. He would lecture, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hear him sometimes. But Devananda was not really preaching the essence of the Bhagavatam. He was preaching some Mayavad philosophy that we can become God. Everybody can become God. That sort of philosophy, which is not actually what is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But Devananda Pandit would preach like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was never pleased with his interpretation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But what happened to really displease Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? One day, Srivas Pandit is one of the, again, a close associate of the Lord. He's regarded to be an incarnation of Narad Muni. So he went to hear the discourse by Vakresvara Pandit, by Devananda Prabhu. And during the course of the narration, Devananda Prabhu was talking about Gita, Gop Gita of the Bhagavatam, where during the Ras Leela, Krishna leaves and the gopis are lamenting, where is Krishna? So this part of the Bhagavatam is very confidential, and it's also very, very sweet, and there's a lot of separation between Krishna and his devotees. And when he was reading like this, Srivas Pandit, who naturally is a devotee of the Lord, felt this separation and he started to cry. He felt the separation of the gopis from Krishna, so he was crying. And his Devananda's students, his congregation, became upset with Srivas Pandit. This crying was actually natural devotion coming from the heart of Srivas, but they couldn't understand this. So they actually took him out and threw him out of the lecture hall. And Devananda did not restrain his students from doing this. So this is actually very offensive behavior. It's considered to be disregard to the Bhagavad devotee. So we'll talk about that. There are two types of Bhagavad. There's the Bhagavad Purana, the book, which is very, very important book. And today I wanted to give a little flavor of what this book is about. And there's the devotee Bhagavad. So there's two types of Bhagavats. And Devananda Pandit became implicated in an offense to the devotee Bhagavad, the great devotee, Srivas Thakur. And eventually this was became known to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very upset that Srivas Pandit was treated like this. And at that time, he explained some instructions that those who read the book Bhagavad, but don't offer respects to the devotee Bhagavad, they're actually offenders. They are causing offense to the devotees. Though they may read the Bhagavad for a long time, still they will never attain love of Godhead. And Devananda Pandit, one of the things he was feeling was this satisfaction from absorbing yourself in the Bhagavatam wasn't there. And partly because of the offense, but also his misinterpretation of the Bhagavatam. The devotee Bhagavad and the book Bhagavad are the same. They're not different. So what is this devotee Bhagavad? Is one who lives by the book Bhagavad. So whatever is written in the book Bhagavad, the devotee Bhagavad follows. That's why they're not different from each other. So in order to understand the book Bhagavad, one must first sincerely serve the devotee Bhagavad. So these are really wonderful instructions that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. And he chastised Devananda Pandit for the treatment of the Bhagavad, devotee Bhagavad, the treatment of Srivas Pandit. And Devananda was upset that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chastising him, but he had not that much faith in Chaitanya and Gauranga. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just neglected him and didn't bestow his mercy upon Devananda Pandit. So what is this Bhagavad Puran? I think many devotees will already be aware of what the Bhagavad Puran is. But just a brief description. This is a phenomenal arena where this Bhagavad was spoken some just 5,000 years ago. And the speaker of this Bhagavad Puran is here. His name is Shukadeva Goswami. And he was reciting this Bhagavad Puran to a king called Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj had been cursed to die in 7 days. He was a great saintly king, but for a small offense that he made, he was made to pay a huge price. He could have counteracted that offense, but he was thinking, this is a wonderful opportunity. I have 7 days to live. I can perfect my life. So he went to the banks of the Ganga. He gave up everything in the kingdom, went to the banks of the Ganga, and he waited for self-realized souls to come and instruct him. And if you look at this arena here, We have Narad Muni, we have Srila Vyas, there are so many great souls were present. But when a 16-year-old boy called Shukadev Goswami came, everybody stood up and let him take the seat, because he was a perfectly realized soul who can explain the duties of one who is to die. What are the duties of one who is to die? So he's the one who spoke this Bhagavad Puran to Parikshit Maharaj. And this Bhagavad Puran is one amongst many Puranas. There's 18 Mahapuranas, there's Upapuranas, and we've listed a few here. There's about 20, I think, here. Different types of Puranas. But it's described that this Bhagavad Puran is the topmost Purana. It's the best Purana. It's the spotless Purana. Some of these Puranas are graded according to the modes of material nature. Some are written in the mode of goodness, or for those in the mode of goodness, some passion, some ignorance. But the Bhagavad Puran is regarded to be above all of them. So we won't go into the detail of that, but the glories of the Bhagavad Puran are amazing. And it's worth just recapping why we study the Bhagavad Puran. Srila Prabhupada very, very kindly gave us Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Puran, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. This Bhagavad Puran is so important that he spent day and night translating it. It's his gift to us. So it's the crown jewel of all revealed scriptures. It's the ripened fruit of Vedic desire tree. It's the literal incarnation of Krishna. So when we're reading the Bhagavad Puran, we're actually with Krishna. This is how important Bhagavad Puran is. It's a natural commentary on the Vedanta. So we don't have to read the Vedas. It's a natural commentary on the Mahabharata, the Gayatri, and the Vedas. So if we read the Bhagavad Puran, it's enough. It's enough. The cream of the Vedas and the very form of Krishna. It reveals the inner meaning of Vedanta. Vedanta is very difficult to understand. Ved means knowledge and the end of knowledge. But that Vedas are written and there's a lot of flowery language in the Vedas. The meanings are not always very clear. But what Srimad Bhagavatam does, it gives them inner meaning, the essence of the Vedas. It purifies the conditioned soul and is relished by the pure devotees. It's beyond any sensual experience of this world. It has an inconceivable nature, and it's understood through Vaishnavas, and it's dear to the topmost Brahmahamsas. So these are some of the glories of Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada always encouraged that we should study the Bhagavatam every single day. You read at least one verse. Every morning in ISKCON Hare Krishna temple, there will be a class on Bhagavad Puran early in the morning. So this is how important Bhagavad Puran is. And what is this Puran? It's split into 12 cantos. It's got 18,000 verses, slokas. And it's described that these 12 cantos represent the body of the Lord. First and second canto represent the lotus feet, third and fourth thighs. Fifth canto represents the navel. Sixth canto represents the chest. Seventh canto represents the arms of the Lord. Seventh and eighth. Ninth is the throat. The 10th is the lotus face of the Lord. And the 10th canto is the biggest canto. There's 99 chapters in the 10th canto. And the 10th canto describes Lord Krishna's pastimes. And by his great mercy on us, Srila Prabhupada has given us Krishna book, which is effectively the 10th canto. And then 11th canto is the forehead, and the 12th canto is the head. So like this, this is how the body of the Lord is represented by Srimad Bhagavatam. And all the chapters have different topics. First chapters, it talks about creation, Then there's a little bit about geography. The fifth chapter talks about the structure of the universe. And then there's lots of wonderful descriptions of devotees and the Supreme Lord in their interaction. Mantras are described in the 8th canto. And then, as we discussed, the 10th canto includes Krishna's pastimes, like that. So if devotees have this book, try to read every single day, even if it's a little bit. This is such an invaluable book for us. So much to learn from it, so glorious it is. So that's just a little recap on Srimad Bhagavatam. At some point, we'll try to look at the Bhagavad Purana in some detail, what it covers, what are the truths, the Siddhanta described in the Bhagavatam. So anyway, what happened? What happened to Devananda Pandit? He was not in a good place. So sometime later, one evening, Vakresvara Pandit was performing some dance and chanting at the house of a devotee in Kulia. By this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left Navadvip, he'd gone to Gaya. His father had passed away, so he went to Gaya to do the Pindan ceremony. So here, Vakresvara was dancing and chanting at the house of somebody. And Devananda, he actually had some faith in Vakresvara Pandit. He liked him. And he went there when he heard this news. And when he saw Vakresvara dancing and chanting, he was so enchanted by that. And he saw that this devotee is so much engrossed in the love of God. So he became very attracted to Vakresvara Pandit. And a crowd was developing at that time. They were watching, they were singing. And Devananda Pandit, he saw the crowd and he protected Vakresvara Pandit from being barged into. So he took a cane and he stopped the crowd sort of getting too close to him, so that it didn't stop his ecstatic dancing. And when he finished chanting and dancing, Devananda Pandit came and offered dandavats at the lotus feet of Vakresvara Pandit. At that time, Vakresvara became very pleased with Devananda and he blessed him. He said to him, Krishna Bhakti Hok, may you attain devotion to Lord Sri Krishna. So actually, the impact that had on Devananda was considerable. In his heart, there was a huge transformation. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to Nadia from Gaya. And at that time, he heard about this pastime that took place between Vakresvara and Devananda. And even Vakresvara went to the house of Devananda and would serve him very nicely. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to him, because you have served Vakresvara, I have noticed you. Vakresvara is fully imbued with Lord's transcendental energy. And whoever becomes devoted to him attains to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. His heart is the personal abode of Sri Krishna. And as Sri Krishna dances, so Vakresvara also dances. Wherever one can get the association of Vakresvara, that place is the sum total of all holy places, and is as good as Sri Vaikuntha. So that was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's way of saying that you are now free from the Vaishnava aparat that you've committed against Srivas Pandit. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Devananda Pandit as one of his own devotees. So you can see the power of Vakresvara. There have been other incidences where devotees have been offended, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not accept the offender until he went and begged for forgiveness from the person that he has offended. But in this case, the power of Vakresvara was so much that Devananda was freed from his offense to Srivas Pandit. So this is the power of Vakresvara Pandit, and he is a wonderful personality that we can pray to today. That, my dear Lord, if I have made offenses to anybody, please let me serve you and let me be freed from those offenses. In Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya lived at the house of Kashi Mishra, who was the priest of the king. And that house, also Vakresvara Pandit lived there with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a different room, different place. He inherited that property after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this planet, and they installed the deity of Radha Kanta. This is the deity, Shri Radha Kanta. They were worshipped directly by Vakresvara Pandit. So very beautiful deities. And this place is near Saurabhauma Bhattacharya's ashram in Jagannath Puri. Very, very nice place. Very beautiful place. So I wanted to ask if there's anybody who'd like to ask any questions, or if you have anything to say, any realization that you'd like to share with us regarding this topic, or actually any topic. We've got a bit of time today. If anybody has any questions that they would like to ask. Pitambar, have you got any questions?
Oh, Hari Bol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I've got something that's been in the back of my mind for a while.
Go for it.
You know, there's loads and loads of mantras in this world, and you know the Hare Krishna mantra, right? Is that more pointing towards the conjugal love with Krishna?
Right.
Because you've got like Jai Ram, Jai Sita Ram, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You've got Om Namo Narayana, and all these different ones. And I was wondering, because our movement is based on the ecstasy, total devotional love, would it fall into that category?
Madhurya Rasa. Now, the essential part of the meaning of this verse, this mantra, is as Prabhupada defined it. My dear Lord, please engage us in your service.
Hanji.
Now, that's generally counted as dasya ras, right? Engage me in your service. Let me be your servant.
Dasya, okay.
But because of the mercy, the kindness, the glory of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has brought this, he's given this mantra some extra potency. And because the mantra contains 3 words, Hare Krishna and Rama, we all know. Krishna, of course, refers to the all-attractive one. That's what Krishna means, Lord Krishna himself. Ram can refer to many personalities. Ramachandra of Ayodhya, or Balaram, Krishna's first expansion. But it can also refer to Krishna himself.
Yes, I've seen it loads of times.
How's it go? Radha Madan Mohini, so Radha Raman Ram. Radha Raman Ram. Himself. So, and Hare refers to the energy of the Supreme Lord. Hare refers to
Radharani.
Radharani, that's right. So, depending on, of course, our own constitutional position with the Supreme Lord, we will attain that again. So we were with the Lord at some point. We've, for whatever reason, decided we wanted to come to this world. And by the Maha Mantra, we will again reconnect to the Supreme Lord in our original constitutional position.
Our original constitutional position might not be as a Gopala or a Gopi. It could even be a bee or a butterfly or, am I right in saying this?
Absolutely. And whatever it was, it is where we were the happiest. And we will attain that again. And we will be as happy as we were previously, but this time with the knowledge that don't go to that place, i.e. this world. Because for whatever reason, we were not necessarily aware of this world. We would just wanted to be somehow separate from the Lord because we developed a little bit of envy in our heart. Oh, the Lord is enjoying. I wonder what it's like. Just that thought is enough for the Lord to fulfill our desire, create this world, and we become entangled in this world. This Mahamantra will unentangle us, take us back to the Supreme Lord. And if one has a deep desire for being in the service of the Lord in a certain position, the Lord will fulfill that desire. That's what he does. He fulfills the desire of the living entity. But ultimately, our constitutional position is where we are the happiest. So, and that's where we are serving Krishna to the best of our ability. So what the Mahamantra will do, it will uncover that and take us back to our original position in due course of time.
Right. So, yeah, because the mother Leela, that is that's beyond PhD. That's beyond some like what I was thinking of. Shri Lakshmanji never looked at Sita Mataji. We were talking about this yesterday.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, what qualifies you to look at Radharani or even Sita Mata? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, crikey, you've got no, if Lakshman, was not looking, what chance have we got?
Yeah, that's right. That's a good attitude, good mood.
Because I'm being honest, Radharani is so beautiful and pretty, and so is Sita Mata. If Lakshman is not looking, we are contaminated. Crikey, it scares the life out of me, in one sense.
Lakshman was only following Maryada. He was following etiquette.
Etiquette, okay.
And he was very qualified, but following etiquette, older brother's wife. So he maintained his distance, and this was Maryada at that time. So, of course, if we simply look at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, of course, that is more than enough.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Nice, it's good attitude and a nice realization, nice question actually.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah. It's what it is. I'm trying to work out what mood am I then. I'm trying to think, hey,
right.
Gopala, am I because I sometimes think to myself, I wonder what it'd be like to embrace Krishna. I don't know, maybe is this the right thing to think? Is this some things like I just think to myself, I wonder what it'd be like to play football, splash, jump into the pool, into the ponds, and because these are the pastimes I've read other devotees doing in the and Canto 10 and all these other Leela, and I'm thinking, what would it be like, and how would I know that this is the Lord, etc. These just the little things in the back of my head.
Well, it's better to have those things in the back of the head rather than thinking, oh, I wonder what it's like to embrace some mundane person in this world.
Oh, thank you. I tell you what, that's making me feel good. Thank you, Jai Shri Krishna.
In the end, if we simply engage ourselves in service, in chanting the Mahamantra, reading, listening to classes, giving classes, in due course of time, our natural position with the Lord will be revealed to us. It won't be a separate endeavor. It won't be a mental exercise, if you know what I mean. It will naturally come in terms of how your love and affection to the Lord, it'll naturally arrive.
You know, I think we've got, well, I've got a long way to go, because I do remember me once asking Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada wrote that if you hear the pastimes of the gopis and Krishna from a bona fide spiritual master, the lust within you will, you know, disappear, you know. And Guru Maharaj looked at me and said, Beta, you're talking about बहुत दूर की बात means, you know, far distance, you know, as if, you know, at this stage you're not ready.
Yeah. And I think that's probably applicable for all of us, you know. But Prabhupada has been so kind. He's given us the highest, best possible philosophy. And all we have to do is tap into this philosophy, chant, dance, eat, prasad, associate with the devotees, you know, have darshan of the deities, and slowly, step by step, you know, we going in that right direction. Definitely going in the right direction.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That was lovely.
And especially on days like this, where we don't know much about this devotee. I didn't know anything about this devotee until 2 days ago. But little bit knowledge now, so we can actually even take shelter of Vakresvara Pandit and beg for his mercy, you know. This is quite important. It's very important, especially on a day like this.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you very much. Vakresvara Pandit ki jai.
Jai
Number ki jai. So, anybody else like to share anything or any comments or any questions that you may have? Okay, otherwise we can go into chanting the Nishinga Kavach for the protection of everybody, especially